So when you which is funny that you say video games and music were the two sort of separate pastimes, because I guess that kind of the Muse sound, which is like Space Invaders set to music kind of thing, it's sort of appropriate. So when you were playing at school assembly, was that something that was like a music class thing, or is it just a...
Yeah, it's like a talent contest or something, and I was actually playing the piano. It's just like a solo piano thing, and a bunch of other people. And but I wasn't really a guitar player at that point. But there was some girl I really wanted to get off with, and I couldn't get her at all. And after I played that piano thing, she was up for it.
That's brilliant.
So I thought music might be a good vocation to pursue. I wasn't really that good at school, to be honest. I was reasonably good at maths. I suppose I would have gone on to do something pretty boring, actually. But music, I'm glad I took music instead. And then when Dom asked me to play the guitar and be in his band, I thought, well, that's perfect. Let's do that. Because they were doing gigs and stuff. And I was just on my own playing piano, so I didn't really have anywhere to go. So I thought I'd learn the guitar and try and get into rock music.
Yeah. And if piano gets you one girl, then a guitar.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's face it. Yeah. The amount of people who were supposed to be who have been like bunking off piano lessons this afternoon that have just raced to their piano teacher's house right now is just amazing. And it obviously paid off. Post when you were called the Rocket Baby Dolls. Actually, Sam from the Blue Mountains wanted to know about that Battle of the Bands contest, what sort of music you played and stuff.
That was actually our first gig.
It wasn't a million miles away, really, was it, from what we're doing? The kind of music we started off doing was...
Yeah, it was experimental and a bit... the songs were quite long, probably, and the arrangements were a bit weird, and there was lots of like different shifts and a bit more prog, I suppose, yeah. And but that was actually our first gig, and we played the only 6 songs that we had. And then we smashed up all the gear at the end of the concert, and I think we kind of looked a bit.
Which wasn't our gear, actually.
Yeah, it was like some kind of rental.
Well, there was some band. There's some band that was like real kind of like they really fancied themselves. They were like the really great musicians playing sort of funk and this kind of music.
And they're normally the people that win these.
And they supplied the gear. It's really weird because they were like in their sort of late 20s, and all the rest of the bands were like teenagers, like 15, 16, and they were sort of like, oh, you can use our gear if you want.
So little has changed in band competitions. There's still a funk band at every band competition.
Yeah. So there's always one, isn't there?
Yeah. They thought they were so good.
they were
so
pretty
pleased.
good.
And it was nice and tight and slick, yeah. But then we won because we had some attitude, man.
And they were very disappointed with that, I think.
Oh, they were.
Yeah.
It was their gear. They could have just...
Exactly. It was I think they organised it. But I think they organised it to sort of demonstrate to everyone around them how good they were, but unfortunately it didn't quite work out.
Didn't work out.
All right.
It's cool. Yeah, it's cool though.
That's great. Well, let's listen to a little bit more music. Then I'm going to get you guys to program some tunes. After this, I'm talking to Matt and Dom from Muse. I want to talk about the Illuminati.
Oh, yes.
Awesome. Natives. On Triple J, we have Matt and Dom from Muse co-hosting the whole hour, and I want to talk about the Illuminati, and I want to talk about shape-shifting lizard men and all that sort of stuff. Because the bass player in my band's quite a fan of that stuff, in that he believes that the Illuminati control the world. And I don't know how far he goes along the line of shape-shifting lizard men, but you guys don't mind entertaining those notions, at least in song.
Entertaining is the key word, yeah.
What is it about that sort of stuff?
It's funny, isn't it? It's quite weird.
Do you have, like, I noticed Lady Hawk, who is at the big day out, she's been targeted by the anti-Illuminati internet police because apparently she's got imagery in her video clips.
Oh, yeah.
How have you guys gone in that respect?
There's one move that I put on stage that I think some people have referred to as a Illuminati symbol. Yeah, right. Is that one? You know that one there? That's the rock sign.
The rock sign. Yeah, that's the devil horn.
Some people associate that with the others. Right. The others. Yeah.
The others. Is that what they're called?
I don't know. What do you think?
Well, because that's I think there's videos showing George Bush doing this and George Bush Jr. doing this.
You're in there. Yeah, you've gone down the slippery slope.
Well, I find it interesting. It's very interesting because it is so many people believe it. And do you guys run into any problems with people thinking that you are sort of aligning yourself with these people who are fighting the New World Order and stuff?
Well, it's the opposite, actually. We're aligning ourselves with the New World Order. And I've managed to get myself involved into that whole scene. I've done a lot of research into it. And the deeper you go, the darker you go, you actually realise you actually are one of them.
Right.
And because you start to learn the mind control tricks that these people use, you know.
Of course
it's very, very straightforward, actually. And,
so how far into the Resistance?
So in fact, I've actually used those skills in order to help this band become more popular. So, and in the process of doing that, you end up becoming one of those. And so you end up becoming what you hate.
Right.
But actually you have a lot more fun. It's less paranoia and it's a bit more enjoyable lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. And you will eventually rule the world, I suppose. towards the end.
Maybe we've chosen to go on the arc.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Because aren't they sort of, there's conflicting ideas as to when the world's going to end, or the New World Order is going to finally control the world and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, it seems to be a lot of research involved in all of this.
Are you taking this seriously?
No.
Yeah, okay.
Although if you are, if there's an arc, please.
I will if you will. Or I won't if you won't. Yeah.
Well, let's not talk too much about the Illuminati. Yeah. Let's talk about...
yeah, watch out.
Yes, exactly right. And you mentioned...
I'm connected these days, yeah. So,
yes,
be careful what you say out there.
I'm always getting these people on who can get me killed. This is a constant for me. You're... Well, you mentioned 1984 before as well. Obviously, George Orwell does play into you guys lyrically. Yeah,
well, that's what's happening. A lot of the UK is a good example for that. A lot of the government have been sort of trying various different ways to experiment with how to control the population. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot of similarities. Uprising actually was a little bit influenced by that. Because the song Uprising was a little bit about the G20 protest that took place in London, you know, and because that was around about the time that I wrote that song actually.
Yeah.
And
similar things happened in Copenhagen.
Yeah, and they had this thing called kettling. You heard about that? Kettling was basically where the police basically round up all the protesters and pen them into a certain area where they can't escape for like about 8 or 9 hours.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of people that sort of just walked out of their office and stuff, like finishing a nice day's work, and found themselves like caught in a sort of virtual prison for like 8 hours with a bunch of protesters. And there's one geezer that actually died, didn't he? Yeah, but that geezer got pushed over and he was totally innocent. He was just like a newspaper salesman. So,
yeah, right.
Yeah, because there's a bunch of people that go undercover in the protest groups, you know.
Yeah.
And they take pictures of all the sort of the ringleaders of the protesters. So what a lot of the protesters have been doing is sort of turning that back on itself by taking pictures of the people that are taking pictures of them.
We're talking social justice with my social justice commentator, Matt Bellamy from Muse. Let's listen to some music. Actually, Dom, have you thought of something that you would like to hear this afternoon on Triple J?
Sure. I'd like to play 1901 by Phoenix.
Ah, great. They were here recently.
Yeah, which I guess came out last year or something, but I think that album's great. And, it's the first I've heard of that band, even though they've been around for quite a few years, I think, making music. Maybe it's their third or fourth album, but I think it's really cool. Really, I like it a lot. Cool. Reminds me of being in New York for some reason. Maybe that's the first time I heard it.
Yeah, right. And you have fun in New York.
Always love that city, yeah, it's a great place.
All right, let's have a listen to Phoenix, 1901, picked by Dom from Muse on Triple J. There you go.
Brilliant, wasn't it?
Probably not your first time programming music on a radio station.
Well, you know, done it a couple of times, but that felt good.
Good, awesome. Well, we haven't got too much longer. I just want to ask, actually, Matt, have you brought one of your awesome guitars with the Chaos pads to Australia?
Yeah, I've bought all those ones. Yeah,
because you got like a whole bunch of stuff stuck to your guitars.
Yeah, and I've always been into having effects on the guitars, you know, because I was really big fan of Tom Morello, you know. I think he's one of my favourite guitarists, and he was always doing good effect stuff, you know, like really great innovator with effects. And because I was a singer as well, I thought when I'm away from the guitar, when I'm away from the vocal mic, I don't want to be restricted to the pedal board, you know, because all the effects on the pedal board. So I wanted to have effects built into the guitar, so when I walked away from the mic, I could like do stuff, you know. Yeah. And so that started with putting things like various distortion pedals, pitch shifters, and phases, and then eventually that led to putting the Chaos pad in. Yeah. Yeah,
right. And it's it seems. Like, so you play the guitar and then you just muck around with the thing.
Yeah, basically just make a bunch of noise, you know.
Is it beautiful? Is it, have you mastered it anyway?
It's not much skill involved, actually. Right. You just, like, muck about with it. No, but you can do stuff in it that's a bit more skillful. You can use it for, like, adding, like, wire effects and, like, phasing effects, delay effects, that kind of stuff. Cool. But I tend to just use it for making, like, loud, easy noises, you know what I mean?